We're back again. We're back again. We had more. We filled it up with more wine, and we said, well, let's keep filming.
And then we drank it. So.
Well,
then we drank the wine.
Yeah, we did drink the wine. It was very good, too. Yeah, I mean, let's start with all the questions people had in regards to our trip of filming. Yes. I mean, the first island we filmed at was Terceira.
It was Terceira.
Yeah.
So we flew direct from Boston to Terceira.
Mm-hmm.
And you leave Boston about 9 o'clock at night, Eastern time. I don't know if that's standard to daylight savings. I can't keep up with that, Matt. But it was 9 p.m. And it's the same distance as flying to San Miguel, so we landed around 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock in the morning.
And it's a weird flight. As a corporate drone, I have flown a lot in my life. I was thinking it's probably like 700,000 miles, 750,000 miles over my career. This is still the weirdest flight because of the 4-hour time difference.
Mm.
So you take off at 9 o'clock, 9:15 Eastern, and then you add the time you're going to. So now it's 1:15 in the morning. Doesn't feel like the middle of the night. And it's not that long a flight,
no,
at like
it really
5
isn't.
hours. It's not that long.
No, it isn't.
So it's kind of hard to fall asleep. They do give you a meal in the middle, which is appreciated. I don't know if I
need it.
If I need another meal at midnight, but that's okay.
It's almost like getting married in Portugal and you get the midnight soup.
Oh, that is so good.
That is good. That's a whole other story. But maybe that's what it is. It's
maybe that's what it is.
It's like, hey, it's midnight.
Part of the celebration. We've been on that flight, and they don't even turn the lights off.
No. Which
is a little odd, because I would like to sleep. But everybody's wired and excited to get there, which is fair enough. But it was beautiful landing coming into Terceira. Airport small, it's easily manageable, so you've never been there before. Plus, the airport's on the downsized American Air Force base.
Right.
So it's all very easy to navigate. The signs are all English as well as Portuguese.
That was the one island I felt was very Americanized, which makes sense because we've been there. The United States has been there since World War I, right? World War II. I'm sorry, World War II. And so we were the middle spot for people, the Allies, getting refueled and all of that stuff. So that's been the center part. And at one point there were over 3,000. Is that what it said?
We had a lot of personnel there. It's like less than half than it was. I don't remember what the numbers were. Yeah, I think now it's like 1,500 versus the 3,000 that was there before. And but in all that, you're absolutely right. It was very easy to drive around. It was very easy for your markings, for everything. The people in Terceira, we always heard it was the party island, and they love to party. But at the same time, they love to party, but they love imperios. They love imperios, which is the Holy Ghost Society. And so there were 70 imperios in the whole island, and we kind of drove around to see how many we could find of the 70 imperios. That just looked kind of interesting. I guess if you're not familiar, I wasn't. The imperios are like chapels.
Yeah.
Very colorful chapels, and for each of the festas that last from May through October, generally there's a festa around each imperio.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Broadly speaking.
Yeah, yes and no. A little bit more than that. Because it was the Feast of the Holy Spirit, and that is so many days after Easter, and it goes so many weeks and all of that. We're not going to go into details here. But it's it's a lot of partying, but it's a lot of celebrations within each island and within each village. So every weekend there's a village that's celebrating something, which is really wonderful. And then of course there's the bullfighting that they have there, or the bull on a rope.
Oh, right.
The bull on the rope. We did not see that.
I didn't even do soap on a rope.
He didn't. We didn't
it's
film.
It's just not fair to the soap.
We didn't film because the first season we already did a bloodless bullfight in California, which they have it there. You know, we do not kill our bulls. But in Terceira, there's a whole story about bullfighting and why it is so, they're so proud of that in that island. And that goes into the history of Portugal. And for 3 years, the only place in this world that was strictly Portuguese and Portuguese ruled was the island of Terceira. And because Spain and Portugal, you know, having that fight amongst each other, and when the Spaniards came to kind of overtake some of the islands, someone in the island of Terceira had said, you know, why don't we let our bulls go? And because there wasn't enough people on the island to fight off the Spaniards. So they let the bulls run the streets, which trampled Spaniards and trampled a whole bunch of people.
Or chased them out. I don't know about
chased them out.
Chased them out.
No, they said they were trampled. Some people were trampled. And they chased them out. And so for 3 years, it was the only territory of Portugal. So there, that is, and it's because of the bulls. So
that's the tradition behind the bullfighting. They used them.
Yeah.
They used the bull and cattle as protection, which I think is pretty cool. And
yeah, it is.
Perpetuate. But again,
it is.
It's still bloodless bullfighting. But
it is.
Calendar-wise, it didn't line up for us anyway.
No, it didn't.
We didn't have the opportunity for it.
But we made alcatra. I made alcatra, which was incredible. You know, and I made the dona amelias, which that in itself was a thing that I wanted to make forever, and I got to make it, which, you know, again, people just opened their doors and let us in and let us cook in their homes, which was, to me, is like the most important. And just chefs across the board too, where we would show up and I'd say, well, how do you make this? And they're like, come on, come in the kitchen, I'll show you. Which was, you know, again, really, really wonderful. But yeah, I mean, the people we met were just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, no matter where we go, and we've always done this, we always ask ourselves, could I live here? Which always puts us down a rabbit hole that we just don't need.
We do that every time we go somewhere. Always.
So, I mean, our favorite stops, we love to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So, grocery stores, I try to price out real estate. What do people do for a living here? All of that. Terceira was a very livable island.
Oh yeah.
Very livable island.
Oh yeah. Easy to drive. Easy. Everybody spoke English. I mean, talk about, you know, not having a problem with the language at all.
Much smaller São Miguel if you didn't have Ponta Delgada, excuse me. No highway, just very easy to get around.
Yeah.
Very easy to get around.
Yeah, and every part of the island was a little bit different, which was really wonderful. We got to go inside of a abandoned volcano.
Well, I don't know, abandoned. It's just, it's like it was occupied before.
With lava. Hello.
Well, yes.
It erupted.
So there's only 3 volcanoes like this in the world that you can go into: New Zealand, Iceland, and on Terceira. And we got to go into one and film, and it was just amazing.
It was incredible.
It was just amazing. So we were in a volcano. Later we were on a volcano. We were on top of mountaintops. We were down at sea level.
Yeah.
We were jungle. We were, well, on the volcano in Fayal, it was like being in a desert from all of the ash. But
right. But that's another island. That's another island.
It's not the same island?
No.
Oh. I slept on the flight. I don't.
No. So with all that, that was the first intro to the 3 of the people that were with us. And they were like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Like, oh my goodness, this is so easy to navigate. Oh my goodness, this is, you know, we had beautiful days. Our weather was gorgeous when we were in Terceira.
Well, we had the one bad day when we were talking to Catarina.
Oh, yes.
About
We
the
had
imperios.
one. We had one rainy day.
And it was it was a steady rain. I wouldn't call it a heavy rain. No. It was a steady rain. The crew were all covered in their tarps and
covering the cameras
and all of that. And our guest, our host, Katerina, do you want to put a raincoat on? She's like, no, I'm from the island. It's okay. I'm like, well, you're still going to get wet even if you're from the island. She's like, no,
it's okay.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, so, it's okay.
You know, for 2 hours we were inside and outside, back and forth, and she just lived right with the weather. To be honest with you, and at the end of the session, she still looked dry, and we looked like drowning rats. So,
yeah, I mean, there's the whole thing.
Right.
I mean, the Azores, you're going to get 4 seasons in a day.
And then we tried to go to, I just blanked the name of the highest point in Terceira.
Oh, yes.
And by the time we got to the top of the mountain...
You'll have to see. We recorded it. Yeah. We recorded it.
It didn't behave.
We'll
just leave it at that. It didn't behave. So there were a couple of times the weather didn't necessarily work for us, but we worked with it and are the better for it.
Wow. But no, you're right. I mean, we did not let it stop us. We didn't let it stop us at all. Because that is the Azores. The Azores,
well, we couldn't let it stop us. No. It's not like we could go back next weekend.
No. We had to film. We were there. We had to film, and we did it. I also, we got to, when we're there, we had people telling us, have you met so-and-so? Or have you spoken to so-and-so? And it was same as the first time when we filmed. It was very organic, and that people introduced us to other people, and now they're part of the episode. And I couldn't think of the episode now without them.
No.
It's like they make the episode. It's and that's the whole thing. We filmed for, what was it? 3 full days? 3 full days.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 full days of filming. And I should say 4, and it was 3 nights.
On the island.
On each island, it was 4 days, 3 nights on each island. And at the end, like Bob said, we only have a 30-minute episode. But we filmed for 4 days of nonstop filming to get 30 minutes. And so it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I can't wait for like the best of everything that we filmed to come out and to show you, because it's really gorgeous. And like I said, Terceira was beautiful. Yeah.
Part of the backstory about filming, we wanted to film back in August.
Yes.
And there were no hotels or rental cars available.
No.
So this was filming in late September, beginning of October was the earliest we could get hotels for everybody.
Right.
And rental vehicles.
And rental cars.
And we didn't get confirmation on hotels for Azores and Pico until just before we left.
Yes.
We weren't sure where we were going to be staying.
Yep.
Because the weather's so nice, tourist season is running longer than expected, and people just want to get out after 2 years of not traveling.
Right.
So what was funny was we landed in Terceira, 6 o'clock in the morning. By the time we collect all of our luggage and head over to pick up the rental cars, we found out that they didn't have a 9-passenger van for us. There weren't any available, but they had 2 cars for us. It ended up being 2 Nissan Micras, which, if that sounds small, it's for a reason. They are small.
It was very small.
And so we're looking at our carts of suitcases and cargo and luggage, and we filled both cars, folded the seats down.
One driver,
and then we had to rent a taxi to get the people to the hotel. Fortunately, the island wasn't that big.
And more luggage.
Yep. So that was funny because we went everywhere with 2 vehicles. So thanks to Charlie, our sound guy, for driving as well. Oh, Mark, that's right. Charlie's not the sound guy. Charlie is our cameraman extraordinaire.
Mark.
I'm sorry, it's
Mark.
the Montevel talking, not
it's
me.
Mark, yes. Thank you, Mark.
Mark did a wonderful job
he did.
of driving on the island. And that was so that was fun. Just, those little things give the trip character.
Yes. Yes.
A lot.
We were all scratching our heads going, okay, how are we going to do this? But we did it. We did it.
Yeah, we did it. And
we did it.
And the time in Terceira went fast.
Oh, so fast.
It was our first island. We were trying to figure out how we wanted to do things, how we moved as a crew. Because the last time we filmed, we were all still kind of moving independently, but this was all together as a group, which was pretty fun.
It was a good group.
And then it was time to leave from Terceira to São Jorge.
We had to fly to São Jorge. So São Jorge is going to be next.
São Jorge will be next. So
that's a long one there.
Yeah, so let us know questions about any of the islands or our experience.
Yeah.
Please, we'll keep talking about this because we have a lot to lot to unpack. So cheers to you and cheers to Montevideo. Not a sponsor, but we're open.
He is too much. You're too much.
Just putting it out there. Cheers.
Oh yeah, it's good. That's good. True that.